Do you remember how powerful it felt 5 years ago? You'd come home from work and your kid would blast toward you like a rocket, wrap their arms around your legs, and tell you everything under the sun. From finding a heart shaped pebble to how much they hated the veggies at school. Back then, you were their whole world. Fast forward to now. Boom. That universe has shrunk down to the size of a phone screen, and you've been banned from it. Dinner these days feels like a one-way interrogation. You ask, "How was school today?" They say, "Normal." You ask, "Anything fun happen?" They answer, "Nothing." The scariest part isn't that they talk back, it's that they stop sharing. They're still there, still eating with you, but their soul moved out a long time ago. So you wonder, what did I do wrong? I love them more than anything. Here's the truth. A teenager's trust doesn't disappear because of one huge argument. It disappears because of tiny leaks in the way you communicate every day. In this video, I'm going to expose 6 fatal mistakes most parents make. The things that turn you from an ally into a stranger in your kid's eyes. Listen closely because you might be pushing them away while thinking you're pulling them closer. Mistake 1. Thinking you're the expert. A familiar scene. Your kid comes home from school, tosses their backpack on the floor, and looks totally drained, like they just survived a war. You worry and ask, "What's going on, honey?" After a long pause, they finally mumble, "I don't want to go to school anymore. Everyone in my friend group is ignoring me. I feel like I don't even matter." Right away, something fierce kicks in inside you. You want to protect your child. You can't stand seeing the kid you love getting hurt. And just like that, you hit the lecture mode button. You unload a whole speech. "Oh, come on, don't be so sensitive. They're probably just busy. Just be proactive and ask them to hang out." And honestly, what really matters is keeping your GPA high and practicing basketball. When you get to college, you won't even remember these people. Focus on finishing that scholarship essay. In your head, you've just given your child a super powerful vitamin shot. You think you're making them stronger. But in reality, you just dumped a bucket of ice water on the small flame of trust they were trying to share with you. At 15, your child's brain is still run mostly by the emotional center. When they say they feel like they don't matter, that pain feels as big as a natural disaster to them. And your solution? It sounds like a boring, soulless instruction manual for a washing machine. At that moment, in your child's eyes, you're not a hero saving the world. You're more like a 15-second YouTube ad with no skip button. They're heartbroken because their friends cut them off, and you show up with a pop-up about positive thinking. Trust me, the only thing they want to do right then is hit the mute button on you and get some peace. Your child doesn't need a tour guide while they're drowning. They need someone to jump in the water and grab their hand. When you give advice too fast, your child hears this. Do my parents think I'm stupid for not thinking of these solutions myself? Or do they think my sadness is annoying? Next time, they'll tell themselves, "Talking to my parents just makes things worse. They'll just teach me another life lesson." So how do you actually reach your child? Try staying quiet and just being there. Instead of rushing to fill the silence with advice, sit next to them and say, "That sounds really lonely. If I were you, I'd feel awful too if my friends treated me like that." That one moment of validation opens up a safe space. When your child feels like their emotions aren't a system error that needs fixing, their defenses naturally come down. And here's the amazing part. When the emotional storm passes, your child will be the one who comes to you and asks, "So what do you think I should do now?" And in that moment, your advice is no longer a burden. It's a gift. Mistake 2. Taxing the truth. Why does your child lie? Because they're bad? No, because they're smart. Your child is a brilliant little economist, constantly running a cost-benefit analysis. Your child accidentally breaks your expensive computer screen. Now they're standing at a crossroads. Scenario A. Tell the truth. "Dad, I accidentally broke the computer." If your reaction is a full-blown explosion, calling them useless, and instantly taking their phone away for a month, you've just slapped a massive tax on telling the truth. Scenario B. Make up a story. "Dad, the neighbor's cat jumped in and knocked the computer over." And you just grumble a bit about that stupid cat. From your child's point of view, lying becomes a logical survival mechanism. You can't hold a stick in your hand and at the same time demand that your child be brave enough to tell the truth. because being honest with you feels like psychological suicide. Without meaning to, we train our kids to become double agents right inside their own home. They don't stop messing up, they just stop letting you know when they mess up. Many parents confuse teaching with venting anger. When you dump your rage on your child in the name of discipline, what you're really teaching them is this: Mom and Dad are a dangerous place when I make a mistake. If you want to rebuild honesty, you need a different strategy. Make the truth cheaper than the lie. Next time your child admits a mistake, practice taking a deep breath and holding back your anger. Say something like, I'm really upset about the computer, but I truly appreciate that you had the courage to tell me the truth. When you separate the wrong behavior from who your child is, honesty no longer feels like a trap. Become a partner who takes responsibility with your child, not a judge waiting to pass sentence. When your child sees that telling the truth leads to solutions and lying leads to trouble, they'll choose honesty on their own and bring their secrets to you willingly. Mistake 3, the back in my day trap. This is one of the biggest generation gaps out there. It usually starts with your child sighing about school pressure and you replying with a long speech about how hard your life used to be. Pressure? What pressure? When I was your age, we didn't have Google Maps. If I wanted to go somewhere, I had to use a paper map and get lost for an hour. I studied that during the day and flipped burgers for minimum wage at night. And I still graduated with honors. Now everything is handed to you and you're still complaining about pressure? You might think talking about your past will motivate your child. But in reality, you've just entered a competition where you give yourself the gold medal and shove your child's pain straight into the mud. You're comparing two completely different worlds. Back then, your struggles were physical, the hard work of figuring things out and surviving without technology. Today, your child's struggles are psychological. When you came home and closed the door, the outside world disappeared. But your child, with a smartphone in hand, the pressure never stops. Social media judgment, images of friends succeeding nonstop, fake perfect standards. They attack your child's brain 24/7. There is no real shelter for their mind. When you use the phrase, in my day, to dismiss your child's feelings, you're sending a clear message. Your pain is trivial, you're too weak. Your child ends up feeling deeply alone, even inside their own home. They think, my parents don't live in my world. They don't understand today's pressure, so why even talk to them? Instead of being a harsh historian, try this. Throw away the scale that measures pain. Pain is subjective. No one's pain is more legit than anyone else's. Instead of replaying your own hard past, look straight at your child's tough present. Say something like, I know school is way more stressful now than it was in my time. Seeing you compete this hard really worries me. That single moment of validation is more healing than 1,000 lectures. It tells your child you're on their side in the current storm, not a judge scoring their suffering. When your child feels that you truly understand their pressure, the wall between you and them will naturally open a way through. Mistake 4, turning the home into a police station. Take a look at your chat history with your child over the past week. How many of those conversations were made up of checkup questions? Did your SAT scores come out yet? How was practice today? Did you make the starting lineup? How's the college essay coming along? Have you applied for a summer part-time job yet? If most of your sentences end with a question mark, you're not having a conversation. You're conducting an interrogation. You care about GPA, sports achievements, volunteer hours. You track those numbers like a stockbroker glued to the trading screen. But you've forgotten the most important metric of all, your child's sense of emotional safety. When your child walks through the door, they're looking for a peaceful harbor after a long day of fighting out there in the world. Instead, they're met by a strict customs officer holding an emotional tax form. Declare it. What did you accomplish today? Teenagers are extremely sensitive to control. When they feel that you only care about outcomes and not the person behind them, their defenses go into full lockdown mode. That's why the answers are always, yes. I know. It's fine. They don't want to give you more information because they know every detail could become the starting point of another judgment. You're like a radar system scanning for errors. Who wants to open up to a radar? So how do you break this suffocating atmosphere? Try the 80-20 rule. Spend 80% of your conversations on harmless stuff. Tell your child about something ridiculous that happened at work. Complain about the traffic today. Or talk about a new comedy on Netflix. Connect as two equal human beings, not as a manager checking progress reports. When your child no longer sees you as an inspector, always ready to write down their flaws, they'll feel safe. And once safety is established, they'll naturally open up and tell you about grades or future plans without you having to pry it out of them. Mistake 5. Obsessive control. Many parents live with a constant fear. If I don't remind them, they'll fail. So you step into everything, from your child's hairstyle to the clothes they wear to which school club they should join. You think you're guiding them, steering them down the right path with your experience. But in the teenage years, there's a desire even stronger than safety. The desire to define their own identity. When you micromanage your child's life, controlling every tiny detail, you send a toxic message. We don't trust your taste, your intelligence, or your ability to choose. You're like a boss who stands behind an employee every 5 minutes telling them how to type. The result? That employee either becomes passive or quits the moment they get the chance. Teenagers quit by going silent or rebelling quietly. They'll wear the outfit you hate as soon as they leave the house. They'll hang out with the friend you forbid just to prove you can't control them. The tighter you grip, the harder they fight to break free. It's time for a new role. Shift from being a CEO to being a senior advisor. Give your child space to stumble in safe zones. Let them choose their own clothes or decide how to arrange their messy room. Small failures today are valuable vaccines for the future. When you step back and respect your child's autonomy, something magical happens. They don't drift farther away. They come back to ask for your advice more often, because now your advice isn't pressure. It's a valuable resource they choose to seek out. Mistake 6. Violating the family NDA. This is the most painful mistake and the fastest way to destroy trust forever. Imagine your child gathers all their courage to tell you their deepest secret, like having a crush on a friend. They remind you carefully, "Dad, please don't tell anyone." Then, at a Thanksgiving dinner, you casually bring it up as a joke to lighten the mood. You think, it's just kid stuff, just for laughs. But for a teenager, dignity and privacy matter more than anything. What you did feels like a betrayal. You just took their inner world and used it as seasoning for adult small talk. You think you only shared it with a few people, but in your child's eyes, you just live-streamed their secret to the whole world without age restrictions. You violated the most sacred confidentiality agreement, and you taught them a brutal lesson. Never trust my parents again. Their bedroom door will close, and this time they'll install an invisible lock so strong that you'll never have a spare key. So what does it take to become a safe vault for your child? Treat every secret your child shares like top classified national intelligence. Keep your mouth shut, even with close relatives, unless your child gives permission. When your child knows you're a safe vault, a place where they can store their most embarrassing, silly, or vulnerable thoughts without fear of judgment or leaks, they'll willingly hand you the key to their inner world. Trust takes 10 years to build, but if you keep your promise today, the door to your child's room will slowly begin to open. Being a parent is the hardest journey on this planet. We make mistakes because we love our kids too much, because we worry about their future. But sometimes that worry turns into a wall that separates two souls. Your child doesn't need perfect parents who never mess up. What they want most is safe parents. Safe for them to make mistakes without being shamed. Safe for them to feel sad without being compared. Safe for them to open up without their private world being leaked. If you recognize yourself in any of the mistakes we talked about, don't beat yourself up. Trust is like a tree. If it's dried out from too much criticism or control, you can start watering it again with listening, respect, and patience, starting tonight. Don't knock on your child's door to interrogate them. Knock to invite them. "I'm thinking about going for a drive to clear my head. Want to come with me?" Or, "There's a new movie on Netflix tonight. Come watch it with us." Then walk away. No questioning, no teaching, no pressure, just the quiet presence of pure love. That's the first brick in rebuilding the bridge back to your child's heart. When your child sees that your harbor is truly peaceful, they'll naturally steer their boat back home. Thank you for choosing to walk with me today. If you found this video valuable, please share it with anyone who might need it too. And don't stop here. The world of psychology has so much more waiting for you in the next video, where we'll break down how the brain really works in ways you may have never heard before. Click over there to keep upgrading your mindset. I'm Apex. Subscribe to the channel and walk with me on the path of understanding yourself. See you in the next video.